All right, let's go ahead and get started. We are here for our final Toolbox Tuesday of the year. This is actually episode 34, and we're going to be going over our dashboard bundle today. So that's going to include our four main dashboards: our financial dashboard, our sales dashboard, our warehouse dashboard, and our history and statistics. We'll go through those briefly and then dive into a live demo. I'm not including the health check just because that is a free app and we've done a session on that previously. Happy to send the recordings to that as well if anybody's interested in our free health check app. Today you've got myself here. I'll be going through a majority of the demo. I've also got Preston with me. He's going to be manning that chat. If anybody has any questions, please just throw them in that chat, the same chat that I just threw the two links. And it looks like Kim responded as well. So if you see Kim and myself in there, you're in the right spot. Feel free to drop the questions in there. We'll monitor them as we go. So agenda for today, if you've been here with us before, you'll know kind of how we do things. First, we're going to go through the gaps that exist currently in Business Central. Then we're going to go through the solutions that we provide with our applications. After that, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to jump right into the live demo for today. Again, those four dashboards that we talked about, that's going to be a bulk of the presentation. Then we'll go over the next steps and the resources that you can utilize to be successful. We'll do a Q&A. And if you saw my LinkedIn post this morning, for anybody who sticks around through the end, we've got an opportunity for everybody to get a $25 Amazon gift card at the end of the presentation. So definitely stick around for that. We'll be running about 45 minutes today. So quick, the gaps right now, not really any great out-of-box dashboarding available in Business Central, right? A lot of folks are pushing you towards Power BI, which is a great tool. However, ours is a great starting point to get about 100 different KPIs and metrics at your fingertips. We'll go over that in a second. Second gap is that you kind of have to build everything from scratch, right? There's not any visualizations that are out of box. This can become costly as you have to redevelop these every single time you onboard a new client if you're a partner, or if you are a client, anytime you just want something new to visualize in the system. And then the last gap is that having external tools requires additional links to get these displayed directly in Business Central. It could be extra licensing charges. It just becomes more of a task to manage as you're going through everything, right? So with that, we've got a solution for all of these different things, right? Right off the bat, we're going to go through our financial dashboard. There's 34 financial KPIs and metrics that come with minimal configuration. We'll show you that screen in Business Central as well. Typically takes less than 30 minutes to set up. I can set it up in about 3 or 4 minutes if you just want to get started with some kind of boilerplate type settings. Second, we've got our sales dashboard. We got 25 KPIs, metrics, again, minimal configuration there. History and statistics, this is one of my personal favorites. There's going to be 30 different things that you can see in here across customer records, item records, vendor records. Think of this as a deep dive into your data. And I'll also be showing you the sales document search, which allows you to search across all sales document types in a consolidated window. We also have some enhanced changelog functions within history and statistics so that you can see what's changing directly on your master data card. Next, we've got our warehouse visualizations. We got 24 different warehouse visualizations. We have different shipping and receipt metrics. We've got different inventory metrics. We'll be showing all of that on today's call as well. And then just high level generic, right? Everything's going to be embedded directly into BC. There's no need for external licensing. It's a one-stop shop, and we've got a ton of drill down capabilities. So like I said, not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into the live demo. And let me pop open the right screen here for Business Central. If everybody could just give me a quick react, a thumbs up. If you're seeing my screen, you should see a nice little pie chart on our AR aging here. If we can get a couple reactions there just to make sure everybody's with us. All right, looks like we've got some feedback there. So like I mentioned, we're going to start with the financial dashboard. And we're not going to dive into every individual metric here, but we're going to go high level. The first thing I want to show is how easy this is to set up. So if you go to your financial dashboard, you can set up some different financial reports. You're just going to select the ones you've probably already created in out-of-box Business Central. This is simply going to display those on our dashboard. The second is our liquid assets. Think of this as non-bank accounts, clearing accounts potentially, that you want to see cash for when we get to our cash analytics. Inventory, just some quick toggles. Do you want to see things? Do you not want to see things? Accounts receivable, what do you want your indicator threshold to be? Think of this as your grace period. So I'm going to give my clients a 5-day grace period before I flag them in a bold and red state, which we'll see in a second. Cash forecast, again, you can pick a few different things here. If you want to bring in additional details to your cash flow forecast that aren't going to be in your subledger. And then the KPIs, we'll get into these, but we just need to know what range of accounts your revenue sits in, your assets, liabilities, all that good stuff, right? And then, of course, to manage user security, we've got this quick user setup where you can define who gets to see what. You can, untoggle some of these if somebody shouldn't see these reports, or maybe they don't want to see the AR. Again, I'm going to leave them all toggled on for the sake of today's demo. But in just a couple of minutes, you can get this dashboard up and running. If you have downloaded this for the session today, make sure you generate that demo key. Everything comes with a 30-day free trial, and then you're good to go. All right, so let's jump into the meat of it. I'm going to start with AR just because this is one of my personal favorites, right? One of the first things that you'll notice here is that everything's directly embedded into Business Central. If I didn't tell you that we had installed our app on top of BC, you probably wouldn't even know that this is an extension simply because of how ingrained it looks into Business Central, right? Over here, we've got a nice little pie chart. It's going to show you all of your different aging buckets and how much money sits in that bucket. If I click into it, it will show me all of the detail that makes that up. And the beauty of this is that we're jumping right into our customer ledger entries. So you can do kind of some out-of-box functions here. Show the document, apply the document, all that kind of stuff with the drill downs. And of course, you can open that in Excel. The second that we have over here to the right is our balances. So this is going to be balances by customer. It's going to show you both the balance for that customer as well as the balance due. So my total balance is 214,000, of which it looks like only about 5,000 is current because my balance due is basically the same there. If I were to click into any of these, like we talked about with the drill downs, I now get to see every single invoice that's currently making up that total amount. Again, just jumping into the customer ledger entries with a filter for that customer number. If I do this, again, I can open this in Excel. I can do all of the out-of-box customer ledger entry features and functions there as well. Scrolling down a bit, or I can click up here on the AR overview, I now have my AR details. So this is what I was talking about in the setup. Who do you want to show up as bold and red? I'm going to give them a few days grace period, but for the most part, it's still going to flag them as a late payer. Again, I can sort ascending, descending. I can throw filters on this if I'd like, and I can see both their current terms, their average paydays, which is a custom calculation we've put in here. So in this case, you can see WMP and SRG. Both of them have a 15-day term. These guys are paying on average on day 16. These guys on average are paying on day 19. They're not bold because they're within my 5-day threshold. However, this client is on a 30-day terms, and on average, they're paying us on day 40. So I'm going to highlight them and bold them, right? I can sort and filter by any of these fields. If I come out to the balance right here, I see that these guys owe us $207,000. Their terms are 7 days, and on average, they're paying us on day 150. That's not great. I probably want to come out here and dig into some of these 121 plus, see if we can collect some of this money and see how we can better improve our cash flow processes. If you need additional resources or have additional questions on how to optimize your AR and reduce your day sales outstanding, please let us know. We've got a lot of great things around that use case specifically. So with that, again, with having 45 minutes and trying to get through 4 different dashboards, we're going to go through this at a high level and fairly quickly here. But just to show AP real quick, it's going to look almost identical. Of course, this time we're just looking on the vendor side of the house. This is saying I haven't calculated it in a while. Do you want to calculate it? I'm going to say yes. And here, same thing, right? I see my 61 to 90. I want to look at that real quick. I see all of my past due vendors, high to low. And if I scroll down here, I see all of my vendors with their different balance metrics. All right, moving on, I'm actually going to go over to the left here to our general tab. This has a few things that our health check also has. One of the first ones is going to be our balance checks. So this is quickly going to show you, do my general ledgers match my subledgers? Yes or no, green if good, out of balance if bad, right? Pretty straightforward, pretty easy to jump into there. KPIs, this is what we looked at in the setup. So you can set different KPIs. We're going to track your goal against the actual numbers in Business Central. So here I can see my goal is to have my day sales outstanding be 25 or less. Currently, our day sales outstanding is 17.11. In this case, having a lower actual value than the goal is good, right? So we're going to indicate that here, and we're going to say that we're on goal. However, I'm trying to get 70% of my AR payments in on time. Right now, we're only doing 58. That's going to be short of my goal, right? And I can change these filters. I can do month to date, last month. It's going to change the numbers here, as you can see. So based on the time frame that you have selected, it is going to change that. Here we can see that we don't have any AP invoices during this period. So it's just telling us that we don't have any documents during that period. Another thing I showed in the setup was our financial reports. So this is going to give you a quick glimpse into some of your favorite financial reports, maybe a balance sheet or an income statement. Here I'm tracking some fee analysis for some clients that are converting from an old payment solution to a new payment solution that we're using called PayStan. So again, some operational type reports there to kind of compare and contrast. And then of course, your balance sheet. I was doing one for a not-for-profit. We got a statement for activities up here. And if I went one level deeper, I can actually see this in the full grid form. So the whole kind of idea, again, I know we're going to go quickly through this, but the whole idea here is to have everything you need at your fingertips, right? You don't have to go search for financial reports, then search for AR aging, then search for cash flow forecasting, right? Simply by being in the financial dashboard, you can click across these tabs up top, and it's just going to toggle you there. You don't need to constantly be going up to the search and typing. And of course, we're giving you some much better visualizations than come with out-of-box Business Central. So the next one here, got a few more. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on inventory, although we do have this inventory tab, mainly being because I want to spend some more time on the warehouse dashboard, which is going to be a deeper dive into the inventory. But if you're only using our financial dashboard, here you can quickly see some value by item categories. We can see how much inventory value we have at each location. If my biggest warehouse is in Dallas, it makes sense here that 50% of my value would be in Dallas, then Chicago, then Tampa, some in transit, some returns. However, you can look at this from a qualitative and a quantitative standpoint to see if those two things match up, right? If I had a huge returns bucket or a bunch of inventory in Chicago and my warehouse was pretty small there, we might know that something fishy's up and that we need to go take a closer look, right? Inventory warnings, similar to some of those things that we have on our free health check app, negative inventory warnings. So, do you have any inventory that's showing a negative quantity on hand right now? Those are things that we can help fix, your partner can help fix, and those are easy toggles that once you get this cleaned up, we can prevent this from happening in the future, as well as inventory adjustments, kind of a quick glimpse into, do we have any inventory adjustments within a certain posting date range? What are those adjustments? And again, you can look at it to see if there's any red flags that you need to look into further. Down here, we'll get into this in the warehouse dashboard a little bit further, but we've got what we call the inventory value and statistics. I'm just going to hide a couple of these tabs. It's going to show you every item, what item category they're currently assigned to. Maybe this is indicating to me that I need to fill out a few more of those, what their general product posting group is, how many we've got on open sales orders. Again, everything's got a drill down, quantity on hands, day supply, lead time ratios, inventory value, costing, sales metrics, purchase metrics, primary vendor number. Again, a lot of information from a lot of different tables, all showing in a consolidated, easy to view grid right on our financial dashboard. Next, we're going to jump over to sales. Again, I'm going to jump into our sales dashboard here in a second, but just a quick glimpse as to the sales metrics you can get in your financial dashboard. We've got sales by customer and employee, which are my global dimensions 1 and 2. We've got our sales by general business and general product posting group. Again, I can change these filters. Maybe I want to do a year to date, get a little bit different there. Maybe I want to do a last 12 months. Again, showing all the different product posting groups, business posting groups, global dimension 1 and 2. I can see my sales order funnel. How many quotes do I have? How many open orders do I have? How many orders do I have pending prepayment? How many orders do I have that are currently released? And then who are my top customers? This is obviously a very important piece to a lot of people that I'm sure are on this call today. We can see that customer 100, which is just the first customer in my list, makes sense from a demo standpoint that they have the most sales volume here. But then you can kind of look at where it drops off and maybe who you want to do more deals with or who you want to chase further for sales. Keep in mind, if we look at this from a qualitative standpoint, customer 100 was also our worst payer. That takes about 150 days to pay. So you can look at, top customer sales in line with some of those other metrics like our AR aging. And then finally, we've got top items we're selling, and then top items by profit. Again, all this is going to be by, you can, sort it and filter it by these posting dates. If I go today, we've got one order in there, it looks like. And again, just some quick, easy to see things inside of Business Central at your fingertips with the financial dashboard. Just for the sake of time, we'll go through this cash tab real quick, and then we'll jump over to our next piece, which is the sales dashboard. So cash, what is this going to show you? This is going to show you your balances by bank account. You can have both checking accounts, savings accounts, credit card accounts, whatever you want in there. You can link here. Posting group balances. So think of what we looked at before and take it one level deeper, right? We're now seeing every bank account, what GL account it's tied to. So I could quickly look at this and say, okay, this looks good to me. Each one is a one-to-one relationship. If we had multiple bank accounts tying to the same GL account, that to me would be a red flag that we'd want to look into. And then we can see, does our posting group balance tie to our GL balance? In this case, it does. We're all good to go. But if it didn't, then you could take it one step further and know exactly what accounts you have to look into as to why your general ledger and subledger is off. Liquid assets, we talked about this a little bit earlier in the setup. This is going to show you all of your bank accounts by default, plus any liquid assets that you added into the setup. So think of those as your clearing accounts. I can see our cash usage over the last 12 months. And if I come out to our cash forecast, this is going to show all of our anticipated receipts, anticipated shipments, plus either the anticipated receipt date, shipment date, plus their average paydays, as well as any posted AR, posted AP. And then if you have any of those expense budgets, it will show those as well. Looks like in our demo, we got a pretty flat line here at about 500,000. But as you can imagine, in your system, as those receipts, future receipts, which is driven off of the sales orders, payments, future payments driven off of purchase orders, and expenses, which is driven off of that GL budget, those will start to build out your cash flow forecast without having to do a bunch of setup in the out-of-box cash flow forecasting module, which I know can be kind of time consuming and definitely confusing for some folks. So again, great starting point. Come in here, click the button, and it will take all the data in your system and start to run through it for you. We're about 20 minutes in. I'm going to shift over to our sales dashboard. Preston, are there any questions before I jump over there?
Nope, we are good to go for now.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'm going to jump into the sales dashboard again. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to just drop those in the chat. So we had like 5 or 6 things on the financial dashboard that gave us a glimpse into sales statistics and history, right? However, we ended up creating this second dashboard called Sales Dashboard with about 25 or 30 more metrics. I like to start here just because this gives me a quick glimpse of my business. How much have we sold today? How much have we sold this week? How much have we sold this month? How much have we sold this year? Pretty basic stuff, but very powerful, right? Sales by date. How has our sales grown over the last 12 months? And then what does our margin look like for those sales, right? What does our sales look like for the last 6 years from a bar chart standpoint? I probably launched this demo instance in 2021, towards the end of it, 2022, 2023, 2024, right? I can see what my volume of sales invoices and sales, was there. And then for the current 12-month period, what are my sales by month? So again, for 2024, I can see that, sales were pretty flat, then they died down, then they jumped up in August, jumped back down, up in October, and so on and so forth, right? Again, drill down into all that good stuff you can see there, and you can get all the way out to the actual sales document in this case. In this case, it's actually a credit memo, right? So it'll take both the credit memos and the invoices and net those out to show you your total sales. I like the Geo Sales. It's a good visualization as to how much dollar volume you're doing in specific regions. So probably don't have a ton of data in this, but I can see Texas, 261,000 in sales, 10,000 in credits, 251,000 total. In Rhode Island, we've got 1,000, no credits, and 1,000, right? So I can look at these, I can click on the dots, and again, it's going to show me how much sales I have in each individual territory. Let's jump this up to the last 12 months, see if we get any more data. I can come back to this one at the end to jump into a different system with a little bit more diverse geographical data, but we also have the world sales, right? So if you're selling into different countries, how much are you selling into each country? Again, you can see the dots, click the dots, all that good stuff. Local sales is just going to be the US map. We already went by date. Let's jump into by item real quick. Keep cruising through here. All right, so by item, this one's going to show all of my customers down the left-hand side here. It's going to show the total sales per customer. Again, I can take that, I can sort high to low, and then over here, it's actually taking our item categories. So think of this as customer by item category across the top, plus the total in sales. And then this one down here is agnostic of the customer. It's just going to show all of your different item categories. If you had subcategories, you could break those out with this arrow. And then it's looking date by date. Since I clicked last 12 months here, it's just showing per month how much I've sold of each item category. So it looks like in most of my cases in those demos, and if you've been at my demos before, you know I like to sell those Microsoft Surfaces and MacBook Airs. So all that's going to fall under computer hardware, which, as we can see here, makes sense and checks out. As we go through that, I can see the individual documents. If I come to this month, 7795, that ties out with the sales metrics that we looked at earlier. And you can, of course, see the totals for the item categories here at the end. Quick question that we've got here. For the Geo Sales, does it take into consideration the territory field in Business Central? So right now for the Geo Sales, it's specifically looking at the country. And if you're in the United States, it's also looking at the state for that state map. So all 50 states, it'll put a dot in each state, size it up by how much volume you have there. There's nothing specifically for the territory right now. However, we're always open to recommendations and how we can do things for our clients individually. So if you're using that territory field, Preston, if you could just take a note of that to follow up with Teresa, we'll definitely follow up and see what your use case is there. And as many of you know, see a lot of familiar names, always looking to add things, and they are using it. So we'll definitely follow up and get back to you on that. Yep. All right, just continuing to go through. We've got about 20 minutes left, and we got 2 more dashboards to go through, so we're looking good on time. Just going to finish these out real quick. Dimensions, right? Big reason for using Business Central is to utilize those dimensions in Business Central. Again, if you're using all 8 of them, great. You can pick the 2 that you want to use. And this first one is a dimension by dimension sales. So I've picked dimension 1 here, which I've got auto linked to I've got it auto linked to customer here, it looks like, and there we go. So auto create dimensions is another great tool we have. You can auto create these dimensions as the customer is being created. And then across the top, I've got employee. So as we scroll down, we can see dimension by dimension, customer by employee, how much sales each person has generated for each of these customers. State zip by dimension sales. So again, here we've got our employees across the top, and then we've got our states and zip codes down here at the bottom. Looks like I just have Texas for that zip code as well, but this is configurable too. Here we've got our sales by customer, our sales by employee, which if you remember from earlier, these are my global dimension 1 and 2. You can see that up top here. So whatever your global dimensions are would automatically come into these grids. And then I've got my sales by dimension. So down here, you'd pick one dimension and you can see it from a time frame. So again, I used my customer dimension here. I can see month by month how much of each dimension we're selling. If I did maybe just last 30 days here, for example, it's going to update that data and just show me day by day how much we're selling by dimension there as well.
And Ben, we got another question. How many dimensions can they select?
So each graph is going to be different, right? So down here, sales by global dimension, we call it global dimension, but you can pick any of your 8. So in this case, there'd be 2. So you could pick 2 different dimensions, 1 dimension here, 1 dimension here. That's going to be your options for these graphs. Up here, your dimension by dimension sales, again, pick 2 dimensions, which one you want down the x-axis, which one you want across the top on the y-axis. Over here, again, 1 dimension across the top, and then down here, 1 dimension that you want to kind of sift through by. However, that doesn't have to be a hard and fast rule. You can come in here at any point in time and change them. So if you wanted to, change them for yourself, you could come in here, change it, and it would update the graphs accordingly. If you wanted to statically have all of those displayed at the same time, we'd have to look at adding a few more options there to the sales dashboard in order to display more. But again, you can change those at any time today out of box just by simply coming into the settings. Yep, absolutely. So that was dimension. I'm going to breeze through these real quick just so we have enough time for the rest of our content today. I know it's an action-packed session. Let's jump this up to last 12 months again. And here we've got by salesperson, and this is going to be month over month, right? So let's scroll over to the right here. I've got Matt, who's another one of our product managers. We got Preston, who's here on a call with us. Both of them have some sales volume, and we can see who's selling what and how much they've sold per period. Down here, we can see our sales per date by salesperson. So again, we can see some trends for Matt, Preston, and myself. And then over here to the right, we can see our top salespeople overall, right? So let's switch the grids here. If we go last 30 days, it looks like I'm the only person in there that's got anything. If we go last 12 months, then we see again here a couple more salespeople listed. All right, just checking the chat again. By customer, again, a couple more metrics here on the sales dashboard. Then we'll jump over to our history and statistics and shift gears a bit. But our sales by customer is again going to give you all the customers per date range, pretty basic but powerful graph there. And then down here, it's going to give you detailed customer and invoice data. So you can see amounts, profit margins, both gross margin, net margin, the customer ledger entry it came for, if it's been canceled, corrected, or reversed, and if it's a prepayment invoice or not. So again, just some additional details here around the different customers and their sales that you're working with. And Preston just called out, you can click up by the My Settings to get that. So it's a great call out. And then finally here, we've got a back order list. So this is going to be a list of all of your back orders. It'll also show the customer name and what items are back ordered there, and the quantity available, quantity on PO, who we're buying it from, all that good stuff. We've got another tool where you can actually send these folks reminders. So for the purchasing side, if you're waiting on something to come in and your vendor's late, we've got some automation there that can automatically send those notices out via email. And then down here, it's just going to be a list of every open sales order that you have in the system. So again, know we're going through that very quickly, but really the main idea here is to give you a glimpse at what our sales dashboard and financial dashboard can do. And then we would highly recommend downloading those free trials, right? You get the 30-day free trial. You're able to install that into your system. A demo is only going to go so far. You're really going to get a lot of meaning out of it, plugging it in and seeing your own data, right? So if you have any questions after you've done so, please reach out to Preston or myself, and we can definitely assist with that. All right. Couple more things we want to go through before the end of the session. We've got our history and statistics, which is now the third app that we'll be talking about today. Everything else we've shown so far has been very high level, right? Show me financials for the company. Show me sales for the company, right? Now we're switching gears. This is going to show you a deep dive into a specific record. So for history and statistics first, I always like to show our customer statistics. Now, let's scroll up to the top. This is going to show us the total sales for just this one individual customer. So again, we're only focusing on customer 100 Snow and Ice Removers LLP for this demo. What have we sold to them over the last 12 months? What's their current balance, average pay days, fulfillment days, on-time delivery percentage? What are they buying from us per item category? So these guys only buy computer hardware, it looks like. What are their monthly sales trends for the last 12 months, right? Pretty flat, dropped down, jumped up. Okay, how do we get them back to October numbers, right? Let's take a look at that. What's their average paydays history? How has it trended? What's their current AR balances? What's their current AR balance history? What items are they buying from us mostly, right? In this case, we can see that they bought $160,000 of Microsoft Surface 8s over the last month. Where are they located, right? Looks like they're located right by the DFW airport here in Dallas. Customer items for the last 12 months. What's every item they've ever purchased from us? What was the quantity, the sales amount, the return quantity? What was the last date we sold that to them? Customer sales documents we'll get into here in a second. Open lines for orders. Again, you can see everything that they have open currently from an order standpoint, a quote standpoint, a return standpoint. So in this case, looks like we've got one return coming in from this customer, a bunch of open quotes of things that we're trying to sell them, and a bunch of open orders as well that probably just need to be shipped and invoiced there. Jobs, if you're using jobs, we'll show you the job planning lines for that customer. Posted invoices, so this is going to be every invoice that's ever been posted against this customer. And then finally, the change logs. This is one of my personal favorites just because I always find it really difficult to find the data that I need in change logs. So we made it easy, right? If you take this approach, you can come in here, see exactly when it changed, who changed it, what it used to be, what it is now. I will say prerequisite to this is making sure that the changelog tracking out of box is set up. Then it will show up in the record by record that you have selected. So in this case, it's only showing changes that have happened to customer 100, which is that Snow and Ice Removers LLP. All right. Step 2 on history and statistics. We've got items, right? So we can do customers, items, vendors, change logs, and our sales document search. We'll show the items, then we'll jump into sales document search, then we'll jump over to warehouse dashboard, and then we'll be done for today. So items, how many do we have quantity on hand right now? How many are available? What's our average lead time? What's our current day supply? And what's our current average age of inventory? So in this case, this item's kind of unique, right? We've got a bunch on hand. We've got a bunch available. We can get it same day. Our current day supply based on our sales volume is 415 days. So for the next a little bit over a year, we're good on supply, probably because of this spike, which we'll talk about in a second. And then on average, our inventory is 466 days old, right? So we have a lot of stuff in there. It's old. Hopefully this, Microsoft Surface isn't obsolete now. Hopefully they didn't come out with a 9 or 10. Haven't kept up on that. I think I still have an 8, so hopefully there's not a newer one out there. But we purchased 250 of them, right, back in August. Now they're just sitting on the shelves. Why did we buy 250? We can go back to the purchasing manager maybe and ask that, because the trends don't support a 250 unit order, right? What are our inventory levels? Again, we had, constantly having about 100 in stock. We dipped low, maybe, somebody got nervous and that's when they ordered the 250. We can see that those things line up. And now, sure, yeah, we've been gradually selling them, but still, not ideal. We're sitting on a bunch of those, and technology's rapidly advancing all the time. So those are probably becoming obsolete, or we need to run a Black Friday sale or something, right? Purchase price trends, right? What are we buying these for? It looks like most of the time we buy it for 800. Maybe we got a special deal from a couple of our vendors here. We got it for 600 on a deal. We got it for 622 on a deal. What are our sales price trends, right? So for the most part, we're selling this item between 900 and 1300. I can click on it again, like everything else we saw. That's going to pop up those metrics. We had a little lull here, didn't sell anything for a couple months, it looks like. And again, it didn't dip down below $900, which to me, that looks good because we're paying 800, worst case scenario, selling it as low as 900. So worst case scenario, we're still making $100. And again, looking at this information qualitatively is really the goal here for some of these graphs and dashboards and things like that, because the whole purpose of looking at the data should hopefully be to make some decisions by looking at the data. Similar to how we saw on the sales side, right? This is going to show every place this item exists across the entire system. Every open quote, every open order, every open return. On the purchasing side, same thing. Do we have any purchase quotes or purchase requisitions out there? Do we have any open purchase orders out there? Do we have any open purchase returns out there for this item? All of that at your fingertips across all the different vendors in one consolidated screen. Is this item on any jobs, production orders? How much inventory do we have by location? If you're using bins, we can also drop the bins in here. I'm not in my demo, but if you were, you'd see location by bin by quantity for this Surface 8. Inventory aging and value, we talked about this a bit earlier. So we saw that a lot of our inventory was pretty old. We can see that that checks out, right? We bought a lot of this back in 2023, and not a lot of it has been sold. We can see that the quantities on most of these are still remaining there. And then the change logs, right? So similar to the customer, what's changing here? I can sort this by date. So maybe some of the more recent changes in 2024. Lead time calculations updating, descriptions updating. Looks like pretty much that's it. Lead times and descriptions. Who changed it? What changed? What did it used to be? What is it now? Kind of again, main goal of history and statistics is to do that deep dive, go into an individual record. It's great for sales reps, great for customer service reps, right? If you've got a customer returning an item or something like that, you can see if this item's a constant problem. You can see if the customer's a constant problem. A lot of things where in Business Central, you'd have to go to 8 or 9 screens. You don't have to do that anymore. You can come directly into history and statistics and do it all at your fingertips. Now, we won't have time for the vendor, but you can do the same thing on the vendor, see all of the deep dive information there. And the last thing I'm going to go into before jumping into warehouse dashboard is our sales document search. So I like this one because it allows me to search across the entire system, all open documents plus all archived and closed documents. So I'm just going to select all of these right now. We'll hide that for a second. And then I can say, give me just this one customer that we've been looking at a lot and give me this one item, right? So now when I hit load records, which it looks like it already did when I loaded it. So maybe let's do this. Let's get rid of the item. Let's load the records again. I'll show you how quick it is. It takes about 4 or 5 seconds. And once that loads, I'm going to hide the filters. And now I see literally every quote, every order, every invoice, every return order, every posted shipment. Lots of posted shipments, it looks like. Probably some partials there too. All right, let's keep going. Posted invoices. Let's go all the way to the bottom. All right, posted invoices is the, looks like we're keep going, keeps loading, right? So you can see there's a ton of data in here. Posted returns, posted credits, archived orders, right? All of that at your fingertips, all in one screen. And if I click down into any of these, it'll also show me the line level detail. So I can now see for this order, I can click on the order if I want to edit it directly from this screen.
And then we have another question, Ben, about pushing it to Excel as well.
Yep, absolutely. I will show that in a second. Let me just finish this out real quick. So was just showing the drill down capabilities here. Again, drill down, change the lines, whatever you need to do. And if I scroll to the right, it'll show me all my dimensions. It'll show me the items on the line, the quantities, the prices, all of that good stuff. Export it to Excel, absolutely. Click this drop down, click open in Excel. That will do as it says, open it up in Excel. I will say, just like Business Central, it is going to export it in the format that you currently have it displayed in, which is why we have a couple different options up top here. So if I did lines only as an example, this is just going to show you the lines. We still hold that document number in there. So if you're trying to do pivots or something like that, right, you probably don't want the headers and the lines because it would duplicate. If you have a $2,000 order and then a $2,000 line and you ran a sum, it would say 4,000, right? So in that case, you probably just want to grab the lines, or if you just wanted header information, kind of same thing there. You could display headers only, and then we make it easy, just click headers and lines again, and it will show you both of those. You can also save these views. So let's go to, where is it? I might just be blind. No, there we go. Save view. So you can name it whatever you want, make it the default. You saw that when I jumped in, it was defaulting to customer 100 and item 1017. That's because that is my default view here. So I've got C00100, item 1017. That's my default. But again, you can toggle between these. Maybe if I come out here, click a different view. If I show and hide my filters now, looks like this one is that same customer, but no item filter here. Let's go to like 1021, right? So again, just different items, different views that you can do there. I'm gonna get rid of that because there's probably no items. Or maybe you just want to do, let's just do invoices, right? I can load the records and hide show the filters. Now it's just showing the invoices, right? So you can get a smaller sample size. And of course you can do date filters, salesperson filters, dimension filters, location filters, all that kind of stuff. I already showed the view document. You can click on that. Show code versus description. I actually do want to show this real quick. Let's see. So instead of the dimension code, it'll show the dimension description here. That can be kind of confusing to some people, right? Or they don't know what the codes mean and it makes reporting difficult. So we can toggle that. Looks like some of them don't have a description, but if they do, we can see 100. If I flip that to description, is actually employee for myself, whereas, my employee number might be different, or the project, right? Consulting project, all that kind of good stuff. So just some more ease of use things really on the sales document search. We've got the same thing on the flip side for the purchase documents if anybody needs it. But for the sake of time, again, we've got about 5 more minutes. So I do want to jump into the warehouse dashboard just briefly, and then we'll finish it up with the PowerPoint. So we've gone pretty high level, but also we've gone through some good details for financial dashboard, sales dashboard, and then history and statistics, which is that deep dive. We're going to back out again to kind of that 10,000 foot view and go through our warehouse dashboard. So Shipments and receipts, going to be pretty similar. How many shipments in this case do we have today, this week, this month, this year? What's our daily average, right? We can see dollar amounts, line amounts, and total shipment amounts. We can see number of shipments by date, year-to-date shipments. It kind of aligns oddly with our sales statistics there. Monthly shipments, monthly shipment lines, day of week shipments, day of week shipment lines, customer shipment statistics. So we can see by customer, number of shipments, on time, same day, kind of like almost a shipping aging here in terms of, what days and their on-time percentages and things like that per period. And then item shipment statistics. So by item, how many times have we shipped that item? How many times has it been on time? How many times has it been same day? So this one's interesting. Just from a demo standpoint, I'm usually creating the order, shipping the order, and doing it on the same day. I've got a nice 100% on-time delivery rate, right? That's good for me. This one, Surface 8, I've only done 98%, or I guess that'd be same day, 98% same day. And then you can see how many are shipped within 1 to 10 days from the order being created, all that good stuff. We'll breeze over the receipts real quick just because it's going to be very similar, but I'll at least show you the graphic. So again, today, this week, this month, this year, receipts by date, year-to-date receipts, monthly receipt lines. Nothing for the days of week here. We'll keep on going. Counts and adjustments. So we just came out with a new cycle count app that will kind of take this and augment it. But if you're looking to get more functionality for those counts, then definitely check out our cycle counts app. Preston's actually the product manager on that, so good to have him on the call. Doesn't look like we've done any cycle counts in this demo, but if we did, it would show today, this week, this month, this year. How many cycle counts have we done? How many positive adjustments and how many negative adjustments have been made? Inventory tab, this is probably one of my favorites for this tool. It's going to show you every item in the system like we saw before, the item category, the general product posting group, how many are on sales orders, how many are on purchase orders, what's our quantity on hand, quantity available, inventory value. We can sort this high to low. You can also filter on it. Sales quantities and sales dollar amounts, the last day that we sold it, purchase statistics, profit statistics, turns and earns statistics, primary vendor number, last date that we counted this item, gross margin ROI index, turns and earns index. So again, if you like getting your hands dirty with some of this inventory and the data around inventory, if you're somebody in the warehouse or somebody who does analytics around the warehouse, this is going to be very useful to you. Give me 1 second to answer those questions. Just want to respect the time here since we're at time. Vendor analytics, this is for vendor performance. So how are your vendors performing for the items that you're buying from them? You can see their balances, their on-time delivery percentages, their returns, and their performance score, which is a combination of the on-time delivery percentage and how much we're returning to them. So in this case, we can see all these vendors, 100% on-time delivery, and we don't return anything to them. This one, a little bit, 2% of the time, we're getting something unfavorable, either a return or a late delivery. And then this AG advisors, maybe we don't want to work with them because, their score is only a 48, which is not great there. Same thing, top vendors, bottom vendors. We'll jump through the sales orders and the purchase orders quickly here. Again, this is just showing open sales orders by your customer dimension and employee dimension, which are my global twos that I've set up there. I can also see all of the sales orders down here. We can see if they've got overdue metrics here, right? So like these sales orders are stuff we promised to our customers that has not gone out yet. We can see if there's problems, right? So, some of these might just because we're short some units on some of these items that we need to purchase. So obviously want to rectify that. The rest of these, I don't have a good reason as to why they haven't shipped. So let's go take care of that. And then finally, the purchase orders. We've got a really cool button on this one. I'll show you here in a second. Send follow-up email selected. So here I can see all the stuff that I'm trying to order, what my expected receipt date was. We got a bunch of stuff back in 2023. How many we've got on hand, how many we've got on sales orders, the receiving status, and the last time we sent a follow-up. So in this case, I can literally click this button, send follow-up email selected, and that's going to send an email out to the vendor, update the date and time, tell you who followed up with it last. And I just got a email that I'll pull over here. This is the email your vendor would get, right? Hey vendor, we got a receipt that's past due. This was the receipt date. We wanted 5 of them. this is the document number, this is the item that we ordered, right? You can just click the button, highlight multiple of them, send them out to your vendors. We find that helps with the delivery performance as well that we can track on the dashboard. But with that, that's a sprint through our 4 dashboards, to say the least. We'll definitely upload that recording. We're going to jump back to the PowerPoint for now, and I'm going to answer the questions. Preston, if you want to read those off real quick. Or it looks like you might have already answered some too.
Yep. So the one from Teresa is for subcontracting purchase orders, are those included in the receipts?
I would have to dig deeper into exactly how you do the subcontracting purchase orders. I say the answer is potentially yes, but I would need to see exactly how you're managing that process to give you a confident answer. But we can reach out on that as well.
And then the second one was about the inventory. It doesn't seem to include the quantity on production orders or components. I believe that field is available on the item card. It might just need to be personalized in. But we can also follow up with you on that, Teresa. I know you had a couple questions, so I can follow up with you on these.
Yep, sounds good. And then somebody asked if inventory allow for images to be added. You can do that just with the out-of-box function on the item card. If you need for some reason to display that, we'd have to look at how that would get displayed in our dashboard. But we've also got a tool that'll allow you to do multiple image attachments per item if needed. So Business Central limits you to just having one image per item. We've expanded that to allow you to do multiple images. So if that's a requirement as well, we can definitely help with that. But yeah, we'll take all these questions down and make sure that we follow up. Just for the sake of time, we'll have to finish this up real quick. So that's it for the live demo. Next steps would be to download your 30-day free trial, right? If you're a partner, which I see a lot of you are, download this into your demo environment, play around with it, show it off to your clients. You can use this directly in that environment with all of your data, set up a couple of those things that we showed in the video, and you're off and running. Similarly, users, if you have a sandbox, I highly recommend putting this in your sandbox, ideally a fairly fresh copy of production, so that you can see real data with our tool, right? And if it's going to work for you or not, right? Definitely recommend that. A lot of times that we see people doing that, they realize that this could be beneficial to their business based on the data that we're showing day one just by downloading our tool. We've got an activation video that'll show you how to go up to the setup page and generate that demo. I'll drop all those links in, or Preston, if you want to go grab those while I'm finishing these up from our YouTube page, that would be great. And then the resources, right? So we got our product page and we've got App Source. Those are going to be the two main things. The product page is going to show all of our apps, the use cases, the summaries, the screenshots, download links, all that kind of stuff. And then App Source, it's going to be a replica of what we have on that product page, except you can actually download the app directly from App Source into your environment. YouTube, we've got about 100 different videos on our YouTube channel. We'll be uploading this one after the call as well. Those are all going to be our video walkthroughs, our demos, any other just kind of useful Business Central information. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll get updates as well anytime we post anything new. So I definitely recommend doing that. And then finally, the product guide. So this is about 35, 40 page document. Every page is dedicated to one app. So it's going to have fit gap analysis. It's going to have your standard configuration and training time. So how long can you expect to need in order to stand one of these apps up? Again, for our dashboards, typically each of them is going to take you less than an hour to fully install, configure, and be trained on. Outside of that, Preston looks like he's dropping some of those links in the comment, just as a year-end thing, and as a thank you for everybody who's continuously showed up to these Toolbox Tuesdays. If you liked what you saw today, we are offering a $25 Amazon gift card if you review any of our apps on AppSource. So let's say today you liked Financial Dashboard and Sales Dashboard. If you were to download those and leave us a public review on AppSource, we'd be sending you two $25 Amazon gift cards. Again, as a thank you, we're running this through the end of the year. Again, this is episode 34 of our Toolbox Tuesdays. Been doing this for a full 2 years now. We're going to continue it into 2025 because it's been such a big hit. And we'll be sending out that agenda for Q1 along with the follow-up to this email. A lot of great sessions coming up in 2025, some new apps, plus some old apps that you know and love. So with that, if there's any other questions, I will stick around, but really appreciate everybody coming in and tuning in again today. and we'll all be talking soon. Hope everybody has a great holiday week next week, New Year, and I'm sure we'll all be talking here in early January.